Hello everybody and welcome to the Bulldog Business Show. As you know, this is one way we share the exciting things happening in the College of Business. We also invite you to follow us on social media, which is where we also share information. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We want to welcome in our podcast listeners. Always glad to have you along with us. So coming up, we're going to introduce you to two relatively new members of the College of Business staff. First, though, we're going to begin, as we always do, with your business bites. So Lemonade Day 2025 was pretty sweet. Kiddos all across the Golden Triangle set up stands to sell their special recipes for lemonade. Some of them even added some treats and handmade trinkets to increase their profits. And Lemmy, as you can see there, was able to drop by several stands for some refreshing samples. This event is sponsored by the E-Center, and it encourages children to become business leaders, social advocates, and community volunteers. The top sellers in each of the cities, Columbus, Starkville, West Point, and Louisville, all won prizes. So congratulations to all the kiddos. We also want to say congratulations to Dr. Merrill Workington. He's professor of information systems in the College of Business on achieving an impressive designation in its 2024 annual Scholar GPS ranking analytics study of almost 30 million scholars across the world. Meta-analytics ranked Professor Workington among the top 1% in terms of his research productivity, the quality of his research record, and the scientific impact of his research. He also ranked as the 30th leading information security scholar out of almost 40,000 security researchers worldwide. He was also named a fellow by the Association for Information Systems and a distinguished scientist by the Association for Computing Machinery. So again, congratulations to him. Now let's meet Hannah Quinn. She's a marketing and communications coordinator in the College of Business. Hannah, it's great to have you here with us.
Hey, it's great to be here. Thank you.
I guess I kind of say welcome home because you are a Mississippi State grad who has come back home to work, right?
I am. Twice graduate, yes.
Awesome. Tell us about your life as a student, first of all. Let's get to know you as a student.
So as a student, I will say I was totally different then than I am now. Then, you know, you're new. I didn't know anybody. I was shy. And then as soon as like freshman year happened, you know, you kind of get that under your belt. And then sophomore year is kind of really when I got really connected into the school. So
and
I did.
Where are you from, Hannah?
I'm originally from Franklin, Tennessee, which is right outside of Nashville. So it's like 15 minutes south of Nashville originally.
All right, so coming to Starkville was just a brand new experience for you, huh?
Well, kind of. So the funny thing is I was actually born in Starkville and then moved to Tennessee when I think we were like 1 or 2. My family packed up and moved. So they always say it's like a magnetic pull. It just keeps coming back. So
it really is coming home.
Yeah, I mean several times, yeah.
So you graduated undergrad, you got your MBA here, and then you got off into the working world. Tell us about working outside of the university.
So it was very different. So I ended up moving to Jackson, Mississippi right out when I got my MBA. I did communications and marketing for a private sector of the child support kind of world. So it was completely new, you know, a whole new industry I got to learn. I got to travel for conferences, doing a lot of the same things I'm doing now. So social media marketing, graphic design, big like mass communication.
So was marketing something that you knew you wanted to do when you left Mississippi State?
Yes. So I fell in love with marketing in high school. It was my big thing. I took a couple of marketing classes at Page High, kind of fell in love with the whole creative aspect of it. All of my family is basically like all come from business too. So it was kind of like a family affair, and I was able to kind of go and make my own mark on it. So
you're working in the private sector, you're doing marketing, and you found out about this position to come back to Mississippi State. So what made you decide to pursue?
So I was ready to kind of move out of the Jackson area. I'd been there for 2 years, and so I was kind of looking back, either going back home to Nashville, and then I just so happened to see this being posted online. I said, you know, it'd be really good to give back to the university that I spent 5 years at, and I said this would be a perfect opportunity to do it, especially for College of Business
I mean, really, because that was the unique thing, that it is the College of Business, so you're already familiar with sort of the landscape of what we do. So talk about what you do, your team. What do you all do for the College of Business?
So we kind of run all the marketing communications. I specifically handle anything kind of digital. So I run all of our social media with our interns. So that's, you know, taking reels, doing graphic design, running around taking photos. I'm also currently working on redoing our whole big website this summer. So that's kind of a big project for undertaking and just giving that a bit of a facelift.
When it comes to social media marketing, we talk a lot about this in meetings and in trying to reach alumni and prospective students, their parents. What is it so special about social media? What's the special knack there about it, you think?
I think it's just being able to kind of figure out what's trending and putting your own twist on it, and especially like for students or for parents, like grabbing their attention and also saying like, if you go to the College of Business, this is going to be a meaningful experience for you, and this is an example of what that would be. So kind of like being unique enough to catch somebody's eye, but still making it the College of Business brand, I should say.
And you spend a lot of time in sort of making sure that everything encapsulates the brand, but also, as you said, being trendy, trying to find things that will capture attention, because some people like videos.
Right.
People don't like links, but they do like, fun pictures. So all of that goes into your thought process, huh?
Every day, all the time. Got to kind of think about everything from different angles and figure out what works and what doesn't.
For students out there who are maybe a few years out of college, wondering what they'll do, any advice for them?
I would say biggest thing that I've ever learned is get out of your comfort zone, what's comfortable for you, kind of explore new things. Don't be afraid to try a new creative twist. If it doesn't work out, just keep going. But, just don't get stuck in the same place. Like, want to go explore and branch out and try things new.
All right, well, we're going to kind of keep you stuck here for a while.
Hopefully so. Fingers crossed.
All right. Thank you so much, Hannah. We appreciate it. Thanks for all the great work you're doing for the College of Business.
Thank you for having me.
All right, stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back.
Mississippi State University's College of Business creates connections that can change lives, with more than $2 million available in scholarships next year. Take advantage of the top research institution in the state. Professors have practical experience in their field, and students have the opportunity to work on live projects with partner companies. Earn your MBA online in as few as 10 courses from U.S. News & World Report's Top 100 program. Give your business career a head start. Visit business.msstate.edu to learn more.
All right, we're back, everyone. We're meeting new members of the College of Business family. Natoya Sanders is joining us now. She's the Assistant Director of Development for the College of Business, and so great to have you along. Natoya, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about the same thing we talked about with Hannah. We're happy to have you here, but more so because you're a part of the Bulldog family already. So tell us your Bulldog story.
Yeah, so graduated high school 2006, came to Mississippi State, did my undergrad in marketing, did 4 years, had the best 4 years. As Hannah, moved off to Jackson for about a year and a half or 2 years. And then I knew I wanted to come back. And so I was just kind of browsing, trying to find the right opportunity. It came 2 years later, and here we are 13 years later, and I'm still at State. So
you did some marketing for some pretty big events at Mississippi State early on in your career here. How has that sort of helped you for what you are doing now, connecting with alumni, keeping them engaged?
Literally just that, networking. I have a pretty extensive Rolodex that, I really like to kind of refer to at times, and it's really come in handy.
So talk about what you do as a development officer. People think it's just about begging people for money, but it really is relationships, isn't it?
That is all it is. Obviously, it's a fundraising job, and so every development officer, we're in charge of major gifts, so that would be $25,000 and up. But it's just that, it's relationship building. You think about your experience as a student, your experience as a faculty and staff member, and for me personally, I knew that I wanted to give back in a certain way. People have different experiences, at the university, and that moves them to give in various ways or give back in various ways. And so it's really just that, finding out where their passions are, and we're just a bridge to connect them.
So, and marketing really is a wonderful, I guess, bridge to doing what you're doing, because it really is about storytelling. And so what you're doing when you're talking to alumni is finding out what their story is,
That is, and so many, you hear about their entire lives. A lot of people met their spouses here, and they got engaged on campus. You see on social media now.
They got married at the chapel.
That's it. And so there's so many, good memories, and it's just such a joy to hear about their time here, how much they love their time here, and then being able to kind of come back and share their experiences with others.
I would say for young alumni, it's difficult for them early in their careers to start thinking about, financially giving back to maybe their alma mater. What is it that you say to young alumni as you're talking to them about ways for them to support Mississippi State University? Yeah,
I think we always kind of jump to the financial aspect, and for me, it's just get involved. We host events, and so that's just a great way for students to get involved and just kind of get in the habit, of giving back. If you were involved as a student, then you're usually, a little more involved. And sometimes it's not directly on your mind, but I think we have to get out of the habit of thinking that giving back is always monetary, because a lot of times it's just our time and our resources.
A lot of what you do is travel. Talk about the opportunity to travel to see our alumni, because sometimes they can't make it back to campus.
That's true. It's always great when alumni can come back, because you get to show them all the improvements that we have on campus, because it's always, we have such a beautiful campus. But it's always good to be able to meet alumni where they are. And so like next week, I'll be be in Texas, visiting with some alums. So it's always great just to connect with them, sometimes meet them at their office, to see what work they do, see their MSU pictures and cowbells in their offices.
Yes.
And they're always, it's for me, I can just bring a little piece of Starkville to them, and they're always happy to see that.
So you've been out of school a little longer than, our previous guest.
Yes.
Hannah. So what is your advice to students, whether it's marketing they want to go into, whether it's they want to end up in a fundraising role? What's your advice?
I say to just take your time and give yourself grace. I transitioned, I said been at the university for 13 years. I transitioned into this role last year. And so 13 years in, and I did a pivot. And I think that that's okay. It's been a great career move, and I think you just have to give yourself grace and just, sometimes we have a path laid out for ourselves and life happens, and we just have to be a little flexible and be able to adapt to that path.
You and I have had this conversation off camera. I don't think you would mind sharing this with people. When you found out about the position, there was some apprehension there.
There was.
Because you thought, am I ready for this?
Yeah.
Am I worthy of this? And that goes to your talking about giving yourself grace and just be confident in your abilities.
That's true. I was like, oh yeah, this is not for me. I just, I'm not sure I want to make a move. I mean, you want to be strategic about the career moves that you make. And then, I thought about it more. I prayed on it, and I'm like, it just really feels like the right move, and I still feel that way. So I'm really glad that I listened to myself and that I didn't let sometimes that inner voice, talk you out of certain things.
You trusted
because
Natoya.
I did, and it was the best decision. I'm so glad that I did.
Before we wrap up, you did have some time on campus where you worked with students. Do you ever miss sort of working that instant connection with students?
They email me every day, so
You still have it.
I still have it. They email me often, and so the good news is we're in McCool Hall, so I get to see them all the time. I still keep up with them from time to time, offer letters of recommendation, and so, it's kind of never ending. I get the best of both worlds. I get to work with alumni, but still keep that connection to students.
And that's great stories for you to share with alumni, because you have reasons for them to stay connected because you are having to share those stories with students.
That's it, and it's really cool when alumni have scholarships, and so we can connect the students with the alumni, and so that's always rewarding.
All right, well, thank you for the great work that you're doing. Thanks for coming and letting us know a little bit more about what you do and who Natoya Sanders is.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right, so before we go, as always, we have to remind you about Club 1915. I'm going to drill it every time. It's one way, if you're watching us, is you can scan a QR code. It's going to be up on your screen. It will take you directly to the site to find out more about Club 1915, and you can join there. If you're listening to our podcast, the website is business.msstate.edu/Club 1915. This is a way you can get information from Dean Scott Graw. You can get invitations to events that we're having across the country. So we hope to see you at some of those events. So please log on and join. Great to have you here with us. We'll see you next time.